Hi guys, and welcome to Elizabeth Ann Reads. Today we're doing a book haul. Now, if you watched my last video, you may be thinking, aren't you getting ready for a cross-country move? Wouldn't you stop buying books? And that's logical, but that's not the way a book addiction works. So I bought books. It looks like a lot of books, and it is a lot of books, but it's also everything from May, June, July, and so far in August. So it is, spread out over 3.5 months. And also, a lot of these I got at a very low price, and also because I was getting rid of a lot of things. But we'll get into that. First of all, I'm going to show you, I've got stuff split up into 3 different stacks here. So the first stack is stuff that I just bought because I wanted it. Because you're an adult, and you can do that. So let's go through those. The first thing is The Great Book of Amber by Roger Zelazny. This is fantasy. It is, I think it's a set of like 10 short stories or novellas that are all set in this same world that create kind of this overarching story. I don't really know anything about it. It's pretty chunky. And yeah, so that's that, The Great Book of Amber. Then I picked up this middle grade, Alone by Megan E. Freeman. I heard about this from Chantel at An Intentional Life. This is, like I said, this is middle grade, written in verse about this girl whose name I can't remember now. Maddie. I think she's 12, and through a series of events, she ends up, the town that she lives in is evacuated and she's left behind. And so it's kind of an urban survival story. And I bought this because I, in the last year, have become really fascinated with that idea of like being the last person or being the last one left. And so I wanted to pick this up. It is written in verse, which is normally not something that works real well for me, but I absolutely loved this. I've already read it, and it's one of my favorite books of the year so far. It's really, really well done. Would definitely recommend. Okay, and then I put in an order from Book Depository because I needed some stuff. Needed some stuff. I picked up Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day by Winifred Watson. This was for a read-along that happened earlier this year, and I have already read this one and really enjoyed it. I picked up Les Mis, which I'm currently reading, by Victor Hugo. Yeah, you know what it's about. Anyway, this is a current read. This is also quite hefty. But yeah, currently reading that one. I picked up Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Basically, just because I love the cover. I have not read this. I do plan on reading it someday, but not, I have no, immediate plans, but it's the same art style as my Les Mis cover, and I wanted it, so I got it. And then I picked up a few of the Penguin English classics, the paperbacks. I have a bunch of these, so I picked up just a few more to add to my collection. Some Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities, which I have read before. Oliver Twist, which I've also read before. Great Expectations, which I may have read when I was in high school, but I have no memory of it. And then The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, which I've also never read. I've never read a novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I've read a couple of his short stories, which I enjoyed. So, I should read this one. And then the last thing in that Book Depository order was the third book in the Pages & Co. series, Tilly and the Map of Stories, by Anna James. I've already read this one as well. I really enjoyed it. This is a fun middle grade series about Tilly, who is a book wanderer. She can go into books and sometimes draw characters out of them. So she's friends with literary characters. And of course, there's all kinds of adventures going on behind the scenes. I highly recommend this series. It's a lot of fun. Okay. This next stacks of books, these are all books I got from my local used bookstore. I've been frequenting the bookstore because I've been getting rid of a lot of books. So every time I go in and I take in like a big grocery bag full of books, and I come out with, 2 to 6 to bring home with me. So it is a lot, but it's multiple trips and I'm getting rid of a bag of books each time I go. So, I've gotten rid of more than I've brought home. Yeah. So anyway, let's go through these in no particular order. They're just kind of randomly stacked. I have The Book of Lost Names by Kristen Harmel. This one's been getting a lot of attention lately. I think it's a World War II historical fiction. So there's that one. I picked up The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963 by Christopher Paul Curtis. This is middle grade. Several people read it during middle grade March and were kind of raving about it. So I went ahead and picked this one up as well. I don't really know anything about it other than The Watsons Go to Birmingham. So there's that. I picked up some more historical fiction. The Paris Seamstress by Natasha Lester. I don't know anything about this other than I'm pretty sure it's World War II again, and probably set in Paris. I picked up The Nature of Fragile Things by Susan Meisner. I have yet to read a Susan Meisner book, but her new one was actually at the used bookstore, so I got it. I also got Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. This is an Oregon Trail historical fiction, I believe. I have a couple other books by Amy Harmon. I've heard great things about her. I just haven't read her yet. So now I have this one to try, and it's fun since I currently live in Oregon. I always enjoy reading Oregon Trail things. Okay, I also found a few classics that I picked up. First of all, I found this lovely set of the complete Sherlock Holmes. These are the Barnes & Noble Classics editions. So these two lovely hardcovers that include all the novels and maybe all the short stories. I don't know. But it's a lovely set, brand new. Doesn't look like they've ever been read. And I think I paid $5 for both of them together. So, not bad. I picked up just a few other classics as well. The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. I read Tess of the D'Urbervilles this year and enjoyed it pretty well. But I'm looking forward to reading some more Thomas Hardy. The House of the Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Again, I've never read any Nathaniel Hawthorne, so maybe we'll start with this one. I don't know. Which one's a better one to start with, this one or The Scarlet Letter? Anne Radcliffe, The Mysteries of Udolpho, which I believe is referenced in some of Jane Austen's works. I don't know, I just saw this sitting on the shelf and thought, oh, that might be fun to read something that inspired other literature. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. And then I picked up a couple kind of obscure children's classics. They're in this New York Review Children's Collection edition with these red spines. So they kind of caught my eye. I don't know anything about either of them. This one is Captains of the City Streets by Esther Averill. And I believe this one is about cats. Sinbad and the Duke are two young tramps. So, yeah, that should be fun. And this is like super big print. This is pretty early reader, I think. There's that. And then this one is The Little Book Room by Eleanor Farjeon. And I believe this one is short stories. But that one looked cute. This one I think is from the 30s originally, 50s. And this other one I think was 70s. So not super old, but, you know, before my time. I found Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I've heard pretty mixed things about this, but since it was there, I figured I'd pick it up and give it a try. I don't really know much about it other than it has to do with kids who spontaneously combust. Hence the picture. But yeah, that's about all I know. The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. I have never read anything by Jojo Moyes, but I read The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek, which deals with the pack horse librarians, which this book does as well. And I really enjoyed that one. I'm thinking I'll enjoy this one even more, but we'll see. I have The Shadow Sister by Lucinda Riley. This is part of her Seven Sisters series. This is book 3. I already own book 1 and 2. I haven't read them, but I've read other things by Lucinda Riley. So I'm hopeful that this will be a series I really enjoy. But I went ahead and picked up book 3. I have The Invisible Woman by Erica Roebuck. This is another World War II historical fiction. This looks like another one set in France. And that's about all I know. I picked up both Hyperbole and a Half and Solutions and Other Problems by Ali Broche. These are kind of graphic memoirs. I'd read Hyperbole and a Half before, but Solutions and Other Problems is her new one. And so when I saw that, I had to pick that up, and then I found this one too. So that was great. And like I said, these are graphic memoirs. It just talks about kind of her journeys through mental health and anxiety and some different things, but in a very humorous way. She just tells some pretty funny stories. But pretty hard-hitting as well. But I've really enjoyed both of them. I've already read this one. And then last from the bookstore, I found Arm of the Sphinx and the Hod King by Josiah Bancroft. This is book 2 and 3 in the, I don't know what the series name is, the Books of Babel. The first one is Sinlin Ascends, and a lot of people have been talking about Sinlin Ascends lately. I already owned that one. I had bought it previously. But I found 2 and 3 in, again, brand new condition. So I went ahead and got those. So that's everything that I've picked up from the used bookstore in the last couple months. And then I have a box from Book Outlet. Because I had a gift card. I recently had a birthday and my brother gave me a gift card for Book Outlet, and the box came this week. So let's go through that. This first one, I blame Krista over at Books and Jams for. This is New York in Bloom. It's a coffee table book. It's beautiful, and it was like $2. But it just has all these beautiful, like, floral pictures. It's just, yeah, it'll be fun to look through a little more carefully. But yeah, I got that one. I picked up 2 books by Kayla Carter, How to Be a Girl in the World, and One Speck of Truth. She wrote, these are both middle grade. She wrote My Life with the Liars, which I read earlier this year, and also Forever or a Long, Long Time, which I own but haven't read. And I really enjoyed My Life with the Liars, and I've heard really good things about her other books. She tends to deal with pretty heavy topics. But yeah, so I went ahead and picked up both of these to add to my Kayla Carter collection. I also picked up another middle grade, The Length of a String by Elisa Brent Wiseman. I don't know much about this. I've seen it floating around a little bit. I believe it has to do with a black girl who's been adopted into a Jewish family. And so she wants to find her birth family, I think, and then discovers some interesting family history about the Holocaust, maybe. But anyway, that sounded pretty interesting, and so I picked that one up. I got The Storyteller by Tracy Chee. This is book 3 in the Reader trilogy. I have books 1 and 2. I have not read them yet, but I have books 1 and 2. I figured I'd go ahead and pick up 3. That way, if I like them, I have all 3, and if not, someone else can buy all 3 at the same time. So there you go. I also picked up Dragonfly by Lila Meacham. I believe this is historical fiction. It's probably World War II. Yeah, 1942. I don't know anything about it, but someone somewhere mentioned it, and it ended up in my cart. I have a couple things here that I've already read. I have this children's book, Little Dog Lost by Marion Dane Bauer. This is another one I heard about from Chantel at An Intentional Life. And I've read this. This is, again, written in verse about a little dog that gets lost. Super cute, super sad. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone, depending on your affinity for animals. But I thought it was really cute, and so I decided to pick it up. So I have it on my shelf. I also picked up The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. I actually already own a copy of this book, but it's one that I like to loan out, so it's nice to have a second copy in case one goes missing. So yeah, this is a great book. It was one of my favorites of last year. Uh-oh, my stack's falling over. And then I picked up Watch Hollow and The Alchemist's Shadow by Gregory Finaro. I read Watch Hollow last summer, maybe, and really enjoyed it. It's kind of their middle grade, it kind of verges on horror, but not really. You've got this cool old house and a mystery and a little bit of some horror elements in there. And then this is the sequel, which I have not read. So I went ahead and picked up both of those. One more middle grade. This is A Tale of Two Castles by Gail Carson Levine. I've actually never read anything by her, but I've heard good things about this one, so we'll give it a try. I got The Scent Keeper by Erica Bauermeister. This is another one I heard about from Krista over at Books and Jams. It just sounded really interesting. It has to do with scent. Something about storing scents in bottles, and I don't know, but it sounded really interesting. It's not super thick. I figured I would pick it up and give it a try. I have The 13 and a Half Lives of Captain Blue Bear by Walter Moors. Walter Moors is a German author, I think. And so this is a translated work. I've read one other book by him, and they're very weird, but I really enjoyed the one I did read. And I've been wanting to give this one a try. So yeah, I don't know when I'll get to it, but I have it. And then my biggest score was 2 more Susan Meisner books, As Bright as Heaven and The Last Year of the War. So now I have 3 Susan Meisner books to read. So I was pretty excited to see those there in nice hardcovers from Book Outlet. And then the very last thing, this was just an impulse buy, and it was the Beatrix Potter coloring book. I love Beatrix Potter, and this just looked really cute, and I like it. It's not, sometimes when you get adult coloring books, they're almost too complex. And this, it's complex, but it's not like overly complex. It feels very doable. So, and again, this was like $2 or $3. So, there's Peter Rabbit. So I just got that for fun. So that is it. There's no way I'm going to attempt to lift up all these books, so I'll just have to take a nice screenshot of them all stacked up for you, and yeah, so that's it. That is my book haul, summer book haul, I guess we'll call it. I don't have any intention of getting any more books in August, but I probably have maybe one more trip to the bookstore before I move, so yeah, we'll see what happens. There may be a few more that come in, but we'll just put those in the fall book haul. So that is it. That's all the books. Be sure and let me know down in the comments if there's any of these books that you think I should get to sooner rather than later, and thank you for watching.